President Trump and Democrats set to collide on two key issues, the border wall and Obamacare. First, with the potential partial government shutdown looming just 4 days away, the White House and Democrats continue to clash over border spending. Senator Chuck Schumer claiming there's no way lawmakers will greenlight funding for the wall.
President Trump should understand there are not the votes for the wall in the House or the Senate. He is not going to get the wall in any form. Even the House, which is a majority Republican, they don't have the votes for his $5 billion wall plan.
But White House advisor Stephen Miller says the president is not going to blink on the issue.
We're going to do whatever is necessary to build the border wall to stop this ongoing crisis of illegal immigration. The Democrat Party has a simple choice. They can either choose to fight for America's working class or to promote illegal immigration. You can't do both.
Also, President Trump ready to replace Obamacare after a federal judge rules it to be unconstitutional. Democrats already lining up to challenge the decision. President Obama and other top Democrats are vowing to fight, while others are using it to push for universal health care, which we will probably hear a lot about. Can we just call up the president's tweet about the border, if we could, and I will provide that to the viewer, where he said, anytime you hear a Democrat saying that you can't have a good border security without a wall, write them off as just another politician following the party line. Time to save us billions of dollars a year and have, at the same time, far greater safety and control. Greg.
That was the border was spelled correctly in that tweet. Did you notice that? Look, I can solve this problem. Combine the border wall and Obamacare. If you build the wall, you get free health care. Huh? That's why I'm 2024, everybody. What I find interesting, no one likes that idea.
Like, how's that going to work?
I don't know.
Well,
just get free.
The Mexicans are building the wall.
Mexico builds the wall, gets free health care. Here's what's the irony of all this. I'm punch drunk. For the Democrats, government is the answer for everything, right? It's the answer right now for health care. You know, Obamacare is government. It's for everything except the wall. That is where the government happily abdicates the responsibility and says we want nothing to do with it, which makes no sense at all. So if you say the government should take over health care, why don't you do the wall as well? I don't understand it.
Jesse, a poll of in the USA Today poll, I thought this was pretty interesting. Yes, it's true a majority of Americans oppose a government shutdown, but it was only 54%. 54 to 29%.
I think the country has a stomach for a shutdown. So what, you can't go to the national park? Who cares?
No, the parks get to stay open.
Yeah, even better. Even better. So it probably rockets to 75%. In the spirit of Greg's bipartisanship, I think Trump hit the nail on the head when he said put solar panels on the wall to get the Democrats to vote for it. The president said he wants the ownership of the shutdown. I don't think he necessarily needs to take that because I believe the Democrats in the Senate would own the shutdown. If you think about the fact that this president was elected by the American people to provide border security, he has a mandate to build the wall. Currently, he still has control over the House and the Senate. If they send up to the Senate wall funding at $5 billion in a budget, then it's the Senate Democrats who are the intransigent ones and should own the shutdown. I don't understand how this is being framed as Donald Trump's fault. Look at the spending. He only wants $3.5 billion more in a $4 trillion budget. I ran the numbers, Dana.
Right.
That comes out to 0.075%.
It's not a lot.
Less than 0.1%. That's what they're fighting over. So you don't understand. It's not about security. It's not about principles. It's just about politics. They don't want to hand the president a victory. And the other reason is they know walls work. And they don't want to leave a lasting reminder that Trump was president.
Yeah.
For everybody to see for generations.
It'll be the Trump wall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Juan,
that's a statue they can't tear down.
Yes, it takes a while.
do you want to talk about the shutdown possibilities or Obamacare, or do you want to do something very innovative like Greg did and combine the two?
Well,
peanut butter and jelly.
I was overwhelmed by peanut butter and jelly. I got to tell you something. But on the other hand, I think you guys are just making a spoof out of this because it's just, it's kind of crazy. I mean, you said, oh, what's different? I'm going to tell you something. What Schumer said is right. He has the House and he has the Senate, but he doesn't have the votes.
I don't believe Schumer.
Oh, well, why?
I think they have 51 in there.
Why doesn't the House vote, Jesse?
They will.
Oh, no.
They're waiting for crunch time.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, crunch time's going to come. Half of them won't even be there because a lot of the people who were defeated are just staying home.
Yeah.
So this is not a good situation for the president. And
We'll see.
Jesse, while you say, hey, you think the Democrats should take responsibility, let's go to the videotape.
Yeah, I know. He did it.
He said it.
I agree.
And so
It's out
Mitch
there.
McConnell, who's the Senate majority leader, has already said he doesn't want this. He's trying to figure it out because he doesn't want to buck the president. He wants to stay loyal to the president.
He's on record as saying he wants wall funding. Yes,
right.
he is.
You know what he's on record as saying? He wants Trump's support when he's up for re-election next year.
And he'll get it.
Yeah, fine. But he can't. But nobody in the Senate takes this seriously. In fact, what you heard from John Cornyn when he saw Trump take responsibility for the coming shutdown and say, oh, my God, what did he do? I can't believe I didn't want to
there's
see
no
that.
political
The buck stops here. I guess he stole it from Truman.
There was a lot of political pressure before the midterm with Republicans saying, don't say you're going to shut down the government before the midterms. But now that the midterms are over, the Republicans kept the Senate. They lost a lot of seats in the House, like 39, 40 seats in the House. So now that political pressure isn't there. So this shutdown could last a while.
That's true. And I think he's taking credit for the shutdown because he wants to prove that he has some guts. Republicans are always such a bunch of scaredy cats. Democrats run with this language about a government shutdown. They scare the heck out of everybody. They don't tell you that your Social Security checks are still going to go out. Medicare and Medicaid are going to function properly. The military is going to stay on. The post office is going to stay open. Instead, they make you feel like it's Armageddon. And he's sitting there, Trump, and he's saying, you know what? If I have to shut down, do this partial shutdown of the government, like you said, maybe some of the parks won't stay open, or maybe they will. I'm going to do it because this issue of border security is that important. This is a humanitarian crisis going on the border. If no other Republican has the guts to say, I'm either going to get this done or I'm going to have to do a partial shutdown to show that I'm not kidding, he's willing to do it. And I commend him for that. I do think, though, that it shows these two issues that we're talking about. We're talking about Obamacare. We're talking about the border. I think it shows such a vast difference in terms of how the left and the right view the world, that when Trump was optimistic about them coming together and saying, oh, on these issues, I have a lot of Democratic friends. I think we can sit at the table. I don't know. I mean, when you're talking about free market health care and on the other side you've got something as drastic as Medicare for all, that is government-run health care versus individuals running their own health care and making their own decisions. Those things are worlds and worlds apart. I don't know how you meet in the middle.
What you're talking about is, we've talked about this before, we are living in the prison of two ideas. Both of these, but you're talking health care and the wall are in the prison of two ideas. The Republicans, they like order, and Democrats, we like compassion. So they think that these can't be combined. So you're in a prison of two ideas. Then you look at Obamacare. Republicans say free market solution. The Democrats say compassion, government-centered solutions. Again, no one believes that they can come together, so you're in a prison of two ideas, when in fact there is a solution in the middle. For each one of these things, it's going to, and for I think all of it, it's going to be solved by technology.
Well,
somebody's going to figure it out.
I've always said the wall is compassionate.
It is.
It's compassionate to the American worker, and it's compassionate for all these people coming up from Central America.
That's
they
right.
don't have to risk.
Your hair
death.
is the wall.
Thank you.
Did you say his hair is the wall?
His hair
They
is the
should
wall.
send me to the border.
Oh, my God.
Yes, look at that.
Oh, my God.
You could not get through that one.
Quite sturdy,
It's like a brick. It's like a brick house up there.
That's what we need down there.
Is it the spray? Is it the hair? We can spray the wall.
I don't disclose the product.
Oh, okay. All right.
No one can
right,
climb it.
though.
They slide right off.
No,
But I must say, wait a second. Republicans have been in charge, Greg, and they haven't been able to repeal and replace Obamacare, right? And Obamacare is now. This is unbelievable.
That's why I say the solution.
It is so popular.
No,
with the
it's
American
not.
people.
It's like something that's just been hanging around to the point where people think, oh, it's still there. Let it stay. But I do think that technology, you're already seeing doctors doing basically FaceTime and Skype visits. This technology is going to solve this problem if we let it.
You know
and
what
your
I
point
feel?
about compassion is the key. You're right, because they twist that word. The left twist that word. Where the compassion? It's not compassionate to have a humanitarian crisis at the border. It's not compassionate to have healthcare costs rising for people that they can't afford, and having them now have plans, having a program that was shoved down their throat with lies where they can't keep their plan, they can't keep their doctor. Government-run healthcare is not compassionate anywhere. That's why people flee those countries and come to the United States for treatment.
So in other words, people who are suffering from the opioid crisis and can't afford to get care or attention for medical, that's
you would be
compassionate.
able to afford
Just keep going in that direction.
That's not the Republicans doing that.
Oh, it is Republicans. If you do away, by the way, you said Republicans like order.
Yeah.
What's going on if you do away with Obamacare right now is chaos in terms of
competition.
Well, here's the thing that everyone should know is
creates
that
order.
nothing is changing. So if you have Obamacare and you don't have to worry, at this point, everything's still.
Maybe you can find the doctor
if you like
that you
your
lost.
Obamacare, you can keep it.